And yes, ladies, I'm back. And while I'm still feeling brave, I'm going to do something really special for you. But first, shout out to Colis, one of my Shima girls who inspired me to do this in the first place. She said, "Can you do a story time of just one story?" And well, today I'm going to do a story time for you ladies. I don't know if you noticed or not, but it has taken me an enormous and indescribable amount of bravery for me to write my book, The Utter Hiroshima. Okay, this has taken me so much guts, like you wouldn't believe. A lot of guts it took to write the pages that you see in this book. All these pages, all 518 of them, it has taken me an enormous amount of bravery, ladies. And why? Well, because I had to literally relive some of my most tragic, heartbreaking, soul breaking, and just the most challenging events of my life. As I explained in my last video, I did not hold back. I wrote down everything that happened to me, everything that I was forced to endure exactly as it went down. This is not your typical kitchen table memory, ladies, nor is it meant to be for everybody either. This book that you see here, this looks like a book, but this is my story, my memory, my truth. It is unapologetically raw. It is unapologetically real. I endured some real tragic things in my quest to become a model, with photographers and eating disorder that lasted more than 25 years. I endured some really tragic things at the hands of Ron Eckstein, the son of the late jazz singer Billy Eckstein. And Billy Eckstein, in case you're not familiar with him, he was a big deal back in his heydays, back in the 40s and 50s, where he had his hits and stuff like that. And well, I was the father of Ron Eckstein, the dude that I went out to California to be with, and that's also, discussed in my memoir. I also went through a lot of drama when competing for Miss Florida USA, not once, but twice. So my book is not about baking cookies. It's not about hair, although I already have a book about that called The Beauty of Texture in Hair. But my book is not about, baking cookies. But again, simply put, it is a story about my life, about the life of the other Hiroshima. And as I explained in the former video, the reason I'm calling it The Other Hiroshima is because I want people to know that I exist too, that there is a Hiroshima that has nothing to do with World War II. Okay, she's an actual living, breathing human being who is a sister, a daughter, a dreamer, a good friend, and again, above all else, a human being, just like you, who likes to laugh, who likes to eat, who likes to run, who loves, to go to the movies, to do normal things, just like you, just like every other, human being on this earth. So that's why I'm naming it The Other Hiroshima, so that you will know that there's another Hiroshima, that is not a city, and that is not an actual bomb. Okay, she's right here talking to you in this video. The truth of the matter is that I almost didn't write this book. This book almost didn't come into existence. Okay, so it's amazing that I'm even online discussing it. It is born, it is here, and I want to share my story with you ladies and with the rest of the world. And while I was considering not writing this book, a very powerful quote from our late great, poet and writer Maya Angelou came into my mind. And she said, "There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you." And well, here is my story, the story of the other Hiroshima, my memoir. And well, I would like to begin my first story time with you ladies. Yes, you ladies, my Shima girls. My Shima girls have actually gotten a front row seat to know what's inside my book way before any other regular customer does. And so, yes, I want to begin my first story time by reading to you an event that happened to me during my modeling days. Remember, everything that occurred in my book happened around 20 to 22 years ago, ladies. It's mostly concentrated, on my in my modeling career and in my acting career and in my pageant career. Everything that basically has to do with the entertainment industry, the entertainment business. That's what I mostly focus on, and all of that occurred in the early 2000s. Right at the beginning of the millennium. Okay, and that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm going to read to you, a segment, just one of the stories of many that happened to me during my journey to become a model. And as a reminder, my book comes in paperback. Okay, this is the paperback version. I'm showing you the draft. This is what I have at home, the draft that I've been working on. So this is the paperback version. The paperback, remember, it contains the color pictures and things like that. Remember, this is me at the Miss Florida pageant. Okay, my first year, the year 2000. Okay. I was so very happy, that when I finally arrived at the Doral Golf Resort and Spa Hotel. That's me there. And then, of course, this is me on stage on my swimsuit, the preliminary competition of the Miss Florida pageant. Okay. And this is the paperback. Okay. And also, I'm going to be reading from the hardcover today. Okay. It's also available. And I forgot to mention yesterday that it also comes as an ebook. And the ebook version is actually the fastest and most convenient way to get access, to my book. Okay, when you log on to Amazon. And and the ebook thankfully also has the color pictures, so you could get the color pictures as well if you download it as an ebook. And also, great news is also in Barnes and Noble. Okay, I just got approved to, list my book in the website Barnes and Noble. And that's a big deal to be there. Some of your favorite authors, if you share the same favorite authors as me, you can find Terry McMillan books there. You can find Michelle Obama's books there, and as well as her husband Barack Obama, and Maya Angelou's amazing, books are there as well. And now the other Hiroshima is there as well in the Barnes and Noble website, barnesandnoble.com. So yeah, Shima's there too now, ladies. Now there was another particular incident that happened before this incident, so there's gonna be words here that's gonna be relaying to what happened to me before. As I said, I went through so many tragic events that they're going to play off of each other. So let me begin. There was this other photographer that stands out in my mind. This incident occurred in New Jersey. I met him at a hair show called the International Hair and Beauty Show. Well, he was in the booth next to mine, and we would have friendly chatter from time to time. I was there promoting some of my Shima hair products. And when he found out I wanted to be a model, he offered to take some pictures of me. Remember, I was always eager to increase my portfolio and jumped at the chance. He suggested we meet in my hotel room. Red flag number one. But I was traveling at the time and I didn't think anything of it. Professional photographer, remember? This one too had very dark but much thicker and wavier hair. I later found out that he was Italian. Anyway, once up in my hotel room, we took some innocent looking pictures in my jeans and t-shirt. Take off your jeans. Let's do something really sexy now, he casually suggested. We had been taking pictures and chatting for a good 20 minutes or so. And don't forget, we also spent a long time immersed in friendly chatter back at our booths. And I had gotten really comfortable with him. So yes, I took off my jeans. My shirt was actually a long shirt that reached mid-thigh, so I knew that my panties would be covered at least. Ha! Was I in for a surprise. He made me get on the bed and lie flat on my stomach, with a pillow underneath my chin. He was completely out of eyesight now, but I could suddenly feel him climb onto the bed, he was just taking pictures at first until I felt his hand land on my leg and spread it apart just a little. Still, nothing that concerned me too much because I've seen lingerie models doing similar sexy poses through my Victoria's Secret and Fredericks of Hollywood catalogs. I was actually excited that perhaps, maybe one day I'll be on the pages of those catalogs too. But that fantasy went up in smoke when I felt his hand on my legs again. This time, he had placed the camera down and was using both of his hands, one to part my leg even further apart, and the other to part my panties, completely exposing my vagina. So much so that I could feel the cool breeze of the hotel room's air conditioner blowing through my labia and pubic hair. I spun around and sat up abruptly, not giving him enough time to take a shot. I was so shaken and breathing so heavily I couldn't even speak. "Oh, you're not ready for that?" he asked as he backed away and went to stand on the floor again. I shook my head nervously while pulling down on the hem of my shirt really hard to hide my panties. He continued to photograph me for a bit, but I was so flustered by then that my soul just wasn't into it anymore. I felt so violated, borderline RAPED, if you will. I quietly watched as he then sat at the foot of one of the double beds while I sat on the other, keeping a safe distance from him. He turned to look at me as he fiddled with his camera and said, "Oh, you're shy. You're shy. Shy girls like you don't make it very far in this business." And I never forgot those words, for he was right. I never did make it very far in the Americanized modeling business. But now I had Ron, and then I began to talk about, Ron Eckstein. And yeah, that was just one of my most tragic experiences with one of these modeling photographers. If he even was one, by the way. Now that I think of it. And yes, all of that happened in my early 20s. I was about 21 years old. And it's all here in my book. I learned the hard way that the modeling business was full of bloodthirsty sharks, just like this photographer. Or should I say, flesh thirsty for female type of sharks, you know. Female thirsty sharks, and almost all of these photographers, and I say almost because, because it wasn't all the photographers, to be fair, it wasn't all of them, that I worked with that, tried, sexual advances on me. But those were rare, far and in between. Almost all the male photographers I worked with made an inappropriate comment, they made an inappropriate moves, or both on me. And it never ever failed. You see, one thing I was oblivious to, when I was in my early 20s, I was a very sheltered young lady, and you will learn about my extremely sheltered life as you begin to read through the pages of my memoir. I was very sheltered, very, very naive, more naive than your typical 20ish, year old young lady. And when I went to take these photo shoots with these photographers, I was completely alone with them. And I mean completely alone with these men, when I went to do my modeling shoots. You could cut the sexual tension in the air with your breath. But I was just so innocent in my early 20s when I was 20, 21, 22, and 23 as well. Again, extremely naive to the wickedness of the outside world. I truly saw modeling as a professional job. Me, the model, a professional, and him, the photographer, a professional. two professional people doing a professional job. And it just never ever occurred to me that this man could get turned on. It never occurred to me, honest to God. And, with me wearing these skimpy, tight clothes with the contours of my bosoms and my hips and my butt in full display, in front of this man like this. No, it never occurred to me that this man could get turned on. Again, professional model me, professional photographer him. We're going to do a professional job. In my mind, all I saw was him developing my pictures. And then once they're developed, I am there. I'm gushing over them, and and I'm happily listening to him telling me, "Oh, these pictures are magnificent! Mwah, mwah. I'm going to submit them to YM. YM magazine was one of my favorite magazines back then. Or I'm going to submit them to Cosmopolitan. Or I'm going to submit them to Victoria's Secret right away." It never occurred to me at that time. Now, of course, I'm more aware of the wicked ways of the world today, but it never occurred to me. It never occurred to me at that time that he was checking me out, that the photographers were checking me out, not the clothes, not the clothes. They were checking me out through the lens of their camera. Okay, I was looking at the lens of the camera, performing for the camera, and they were looking at me too, all right, but not in the way that I thought they were looking at me, you know, as a professional model there doing a professional, gig. Anyway, this particular photographer from New Jersey really, really crossed the line. And yes, I did feel borderline RAPED, because up to that moment, that had never happened to me before, not to that degree. You know, Before this photographer did that to me, all the other photographers, they were making inappropriate comments and things like that. But this one really crossed the line when he pulled my panties apart. Okay, I'm not gonna get emotional. I told myself this happened 22 years ago. So I got it, Shima. I got it. And you know, this man got to see all of my stuff in full display. Even if just for a fraction of a second, what he saw was without my permission, without my consent, a complete violation of my body. But yeah, shy girls like you don't make it very far in this business. At least he was being truthful. But I did continue to pursue my modeling career for a bit longer after that. As I continued to work with these photographers, each incident opened my eyes a bit more as well, and I tried to be more careful. But at the end of the day, between my refusal to sleep with these photographers, because that's what that photographer wanted eventually, of course, wanted to see my stuff, and then, of course, he wanted me to sleep with him. You know, Between my refusal to sleep with these photographers, between my height, I was 5'5", 5'5.5", something like that. Way too short, for the modeling business to even consider me. And of course, my skin color, between all of that, my chances of breaking into the modeling business was basically non-existent. But God knows what he's doing. And here I am today. I have my own business, Shima Hair Inc. And guess who's the spokesmodel of that? That's right. I am. Shima, also known as Hiroshima, is the spokesmodel of her own hair care business. Another wonderful quote, and very, very inspirational, by our late great Maya Angelou is the following: if you don't like something, change it. And well, I did. I changed my career path to become my own businesswoman. And again, here I am today with all of you wonderful ladies, my Shima girls, learning how to grow our hair, and now sharing the most intimate parts of my life with my new book, my memoir, The Other Hiroshima. So thank you, Shima girls, again for joining me in this video. My first story time. I plan to do some more with you ladies. There's so much more, it's not 518 pages for nothing. It's not 518 pages for nothing. And there's so much more that happened to me. And I cover it all in explicit detail again. Ladies, I do not sugarcoat anything here. It's not about hair. It's not about baking chocolate cookies. This is about my real life in its rawest form, exactly as it happened. I pull no punches. This is not your typical memoir. Okay, this is not your typical kitchen table memoir. Everything is in its rawest form, and I had to write it like that because when the incidents were happening to me, they were in their rawest form. Nobody sugarcoated anything with me when it was happening directly to me. So that's how I convey my life story in this book. Okay, available now in Amazon and as well as Barnes and Noble, who just approved me. So you can log on to barnesandnoble.com and you can find my book there too. It will be the paperback version, and it will also be in color. There'll be color photographs in the paperback version in the barnesandnoble.com website. And that's it. Thank you ladies for joining me. I got a little bit emotional. I'm just human, you see? I'm just a human, just like you. God bless you, ladies. I hope to see you very soon.